Now, in the previous message, we took up the mission of John the Baptist as expressed in the Gospels of the New Testament. Again, in the Holy Quran, John the Baptist is referred to as an apostle or messenger. The Bible states of John, the beginning of the gospel of Jesus Christ, the Son of Man, the Son of God, as it is written in the prophets, behold, I send my messenger before thy face, which shall prepare thy way before thee. The voice of one crying in the wilderness, prepare ye the way of the Lord, make his paths straight. Well, here the gospel of Christ begins with the work of John. So you come to know about Christ, and he's mentioned because of John's work. The gospel of Christ begins with John, not with Christ's return. It begins with John. Why? Well, unlike other apostles of the past, John's mission is to inform the people of the identity of the Christ and of his imminent wrath to end wickedness on earth. So this bears on my answer to a person who asked me a question via Facebook. It looked like it was a rhetorical question, so I didn't bother to answer it. But this person stated, so what if the Godfather of Harlem series plans to include the character of Louis Farrakhan? She was responding to the message that I delivered several weeks ago about how sinister, unethical, immoral, and satanic it would be to have a character of Louis Farrakhan while he's here in particular, but even while he's not here. And of course, the idea behind that is to begin his crucifixion by painting a portrait of him that does not fit what he has already demonstrated among us for 60 years. But there are many people who get their news in the 401 through television series of fiction and nonsense, not through what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad wrote in these books and what he said. You would rather hear from the devils who make series, television series, and then go around, I didn't know the Honorable Elijah Muhammad did that. Well, he didn't do that. But if you wanted to know what he did, then you would pick up his books and read for yourself, since he has represented himself. But I know that's too big of a journey for those of us who want to remain ignorant. But you only hurting your own self. Now, there's enough buffoons that the devil has already made, millions of them. Why would you want to be counted among them? We should have more dignity than that. We should investigate for ourselves before we take a television series as the gospel. We're going to follow up on that with another subject later on in this message. Now, there is an exceptionally harsh chastisement in store for Black people, in particular, if they join with their former slave masters in mocking and vilifying the Honorable Louis Farrakhan. That's the answer. So what? Well, this is what is. So my appeal is to the veteran Black actors who have lived long enough to witness the Honorable Louis Farrakhan's complete sacrifice of his life for the upliftment of the Black people of the Western Hemisphere. In particular, some of these actors attended the Million Man March, the Million Family March, the Millions More movement, and also the Justice or Else movement. And that's just those, in addition to all the other lectures that he has done crisscrossing America in the last 42 years in particular. So these actors who know him are in a consequential position to determine the fate of their own people in this regard. So if you don't think enough of your own people to keep the wrath of God off of them through your influence. If that influence is ill towards the Honorable Louis Farrakhan, then you will bear that burden.